I'm Rendan, and this is the Forever Purge.
How's that feel? It's the real Purge. The Forever Purge!
So the Forever Purge is the 5th movie in the ongoing Purge franchise. And unlike Fast and the Furious, where I watched every single one leading up to Fast 9, I didn't watch any of these movies. You guys know I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And I was excited for Furious 7. And you know what just happened to me? Iggy Azalea happened. So I went into this completely blind. All I know about the franchise is that they all have a similar premise of, what if one night a year, all crime was legal except for some? Like, you can't use a big gun, and you can't kill certain people. But other than that, all crime is legal, including murder, and that's the premise. It's a big what if, high concept type of idea. I've never been super interested in this concept. It just seems so far-fetched that I never had any compelling reason to see it. And even in this one, it doesn't quite work. But if you can suspend your disbelief, I'm sure that there is some fun to be had in at least a couple of these. Unfortunately, that's not the case with The Forever Purge. This is a movie that is kind of completely lost on me, the point of it. It is a movie that is very clearly targeting current American social political climate and the discourse between liberals and conservatives and the bigotry, hatred, and racism that is running rampant, at least on social media and throughout different parts of the country.
It's a joke. Okay, cool. It's a joke. You're ruining my country.
And it seems to be taking aim at that to some degree. And I don't really know what that is. This movie paints with such broad strokes. I'm not completely sure what it's even trying to say. I mean, it has a similar premise as the other ones. It's essentially one night a year, the purge happens, and our main characters survive it, but then it doesn't stop. The people that are purging just keep doing it. And the implication there is that these hateful, bigoted people that are running crazy in America right now decided to rise up and kill all of the people that weren't white supremacists. And that seems to be kind of a thing that the movie wants to say may happen. I don't know. I could be reading this wrong. But because of this discord between different people in America, this movie seems to be of the opinion that that is going to reach such boiling points that there will just be murder and riots in the street.
Listen to me, Republicans! Listen!
I found it quite ugly, and not only is what it's doing ugly, and I just don't really understand what it is trying to say, to be honest. It's very clearly targeting that hatred side of America, but at the end of the movie, it's very clear that, in this movie at least, only America is doing these things. It's almost as if every other country in every part of the world is free of all of these things, and it feels kind of, again, distasteful. And even like the moral, I don't know what it's trying to say. I don't know what it's trying to get at other than, hey, be nice, which is such a simplistic idea that kids' movies do it better. I don't really know what it's doing. Again, it paints things so broadly that there's just nothing to really get out of it. So why do it in the first place? It just feels kind of reductive and simple for a movie like this. It's just not a great movie in general. If you take this at face value and try to ignore all of the political commentary in it, it's just not that good anyway. The performances are generally pretty solid, and it has a tight structure to it. I enjoyed the ticking clock element it introduces in the second half that it for no reason gets rid of right at the end as well. It introduces it only to take it away. Thought that was weird, but the structure's solid, the performances are solid. The script, the bare bones of the script are there, but it just doesn't quite work with itself. There's a little bit too much that it's trying to do, and the characters kind of fall to the wayside because of it. I mean, our main characters are polar opposites, essentially. You have a family who immigrated from Mexico to seek the American dream, and then the irony of it is that they end up fleeing back to Mexico because America is now in ruin, which, again, I don't know what they're trying to say there other than leave America. I really don't know. But on the opposite side of them is a cowboy, homegrown, country bumpkin type of rich cowboy family in Texas. And they're kind of smashed together, and they go through this purge together. And there's like 2 moments where they bring up the fact that they're like from different worlds. So that, there's something that you could do there between the two, but they really don't. There's one moment in a truck where the Mexican guy asks the cowboy if he likes him or not. And he goes, "Yeah, I like you fine." And that's the scene. The movie also is just not very well made. It's actually quite ugly at times. The cinematography is very ugly, and a lot of things are kind of kept away from the viewer in terms of how it's shooting things. The violence is frequently off camera or not shot that well, so you can't really understand what's going on. A lot of the visual effects are terrible, and a lot of the blood, is CG. It's CG blood. It looks bad. I don't know why you couldn't just do practical blood squibs. They look way better. And anytime there could be like actual graphic violence, like somebody's face getting bashed in by a sledgehammer or something, it's off camera. So I just don't know who this is for. I don't know what it's trying to say. I don't know what it's trying to accomplish. And the filmmaking isn't good enough to make up for that. The characters aren't that interesting. The premise is wishy-washy at best. And it's an incredibly bleak and kind of ugly movie. I just don't understand who would get anything out of this. There's like 8 or 9 jump scares too. That's for like a PG-13 high school audience. Why is that in a graphic violent movie? You just don't need it. But then the graphic violence is frequently off camera or distorted by horrible camera work or out of focus camera work. There's shots that are blatantly out of focus. Like, come on. And then the rest of it that you can see is CG. Like, what are we doing? So I give it a 3. It's just not very good. There are things that work, but not close to enough to make up for the things that don't. So if you like Purge, if you want to see another one, this is another one.